Surfacing. It's one of the most important steps in the doll making process. Because having a nice smooth master means that your castings will come out of the molds with the same nice smooth texture. But to be perfectly honest, I find it incredibly boring. The process itself is simple. You spray a thin coat of primer, let that cure, patch any large imperfections that have turned up, let that cure, and then you sand it smooth. And then you repeat, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat, until you're happy with the surface. The primer itself serves two purposes. One is filling all of those tiny little imperfections that might have been left over from your tool scraping a little too hard or your sandpaper. And two, the grey tone of the primer helps to highlight uneven texture that wasn't as noticeable in the original prototype. And those divots that appear after spraying a layer of primer are the same divots that will be super noticeable when you go to blush the final doll. It does become a bit of a balance trying to get the surface as smooth as possible while not letting yourself lose all of the fine details, because all of those little tiny grooves are slowly being filled in by the layers and layers of primer that you're spraying. And not only do I have some small mistakes in my sculpting, but my current lack of a pressure pot unfortunately means I have to contend with an abundance of air bubbles in the surface of my resin master. Because I live in England, and resin does not like humidity. Unfortunately, that also means that the surfacing takes even longer, as I have to fill in all of those little holes before I can start paying attention to the rest of the surface. And while the primer will fill in some of the shallower holes, I did have to go back and fill in some of the deeper holes with some form of hole filler. One of the ones that I've relied upon regularly is a combination of baking soda and superglue, because it cures instantly and can be sanded immediately. But larger imperfections were patched with Milliput, which needs a full day to cure where I live. I completed this process over several weeks and listened to several audiobooks during the process. It was incredibly tedious at times, but I will say that I'm very happy with the results, and I look forward to sharing my finished doll with you.